Well, hello and welcome. I'm Miss Heard with Miss Heard Song Lyrics Podcast. We're in Season 6, Episode 264, and we're doing a Miss Heard Song Lyric with Rod Stewart. The Miss Heard lyric is, build a stairway to heaven with a prince or a bag of bones. And the correct lyrics is, build a stairway to heaven with a prince or a vagabond. Vagabond, not bag of bones, which bag of bones is perfect because my favorite holiday is around the corner, which is Halloween. So perfect timing. First ever, I thought I did one, but I did not. Misheard Song Lyric episode on Rod Stewart. It's his song Forever Young, and it was written by him, released in his 1988 album called Out of Order. The song did well. It was a top 20 hit in the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 12 and number 9 on the Canadian RPM magazine charts. Before we start delving into the song and the meaning, let's talk about Mr. Rod Stewart, or as the interwebs have called him, Sir Roderick David Stewart. So Rod is short for Roderick, and he's a sir. So we'll go into that also in just a bit. He was born on January 10th, 1945. He's, of course, a British rock and pop singer and songwriter known for his distinct, raspy singing voice. Obviously, everyone, when you hear him sing, you know it's Rod Stewart. He is among the best-selling music artists of all time. He has sold more than 120 million records worldwide. That is a lot, especially in the time frame of his singing career where a lot of it wasn't downloadable. You had to go to the store to pick up whatever, vinyl, cassette, whatever. But amazing, 120 million. And his music career began in 1962. So about, what is that, 62 years ago. It's a long time. And it started with him busking, just being out, probably has a hat out for any tips, with a harmonica. That's why he's very good with the harmonica. So let's talk about the history of him. So in 1963, he joined the Dimensions as a harmonica player and vocalist. The next year in 64, he joined Long John Baldry and the All-Stars before moving to the Jeff Beck Group in 1967. In 1969, it also shows he joined Faces. He also launched a solo career, very busy, and he released his debut album, An Old Raincoat Won't Ever Let You Down, that year. His early albums were a fusion of rock, folk music, soul, and R&B, and in his third album in 1971, it's called Every Picture Tells a Story. It was breakthrough because in that album, it was topping the charts in the UK, US, Canada, and Australia because his ballad Maggie May. That's how I knew about him as a young kid, is the song Maggie May. Then in 1972, his follow-up album Never a Dull Moment, it was called, also reached number 1 in the UK and Australia, while going top 3 in the US and Canada. Its single You Wear It Well topped the chart in the UK and was a moderate hit elsewhere. And then after a handful of more UK top 10 hits, Faces broke up in 1975. So then Stewart's next hit singles were ballads, with Sailing off the 1975 UK and Australian number 1 album called Atlantic Crossing, becoming a hit in the UK and the Netherlands, number 1 there, Germany number 4, and other countries, but not charting hardly in the US yet. And then he had another album in 1976 called A Night on the Town. His 5th straight chart topper in the UK, began a 3-album run of going number 1 or top 3 in the US, Canada, and the UK and Australia with each release. The albums Tonight's the Night, Gonna Be Alright spent almost 2 months at number 1 in the US and Canada and made the top 5 in other countries. In 1977, he did an album called Footloose and Fancy Free, and it contained the hit You're in My Heart, the final claim. I'm in my heart. That's the song. As well as the rocker Hot Legs, okay? And then in 1978, he had an album called Blondes Have More Fun, and it has the disco tinge, Do You Think I'm Sexy? That's another one that as a young kid, I remember very clearly. Played in a lot of dance floors I hear from my aunties that would go out Friday, Saturday night. Both went to number 1 in Canada and Australia and the US with Do You Think I'm Sexy, also hitting number 1 in the UK and top 10 in other countries. His albums regularly hit the upper rungs of the charts in the Netherlands throughout the 70s and Sweden from 1975 onward. And after a disco and new wave period in the late 70s and early 80s, his music turned to a soft rock, middle-of-the-road style, with his albums reaching the top 10 in the UK, Germany, and Sweden, but faring less well in the US. We're very fickle here in the US. The single Rhythm of My Heart was a top hit in the UK. U.S. and other countries with its source album. 1991's Vagabond Heart, so there's the Vagabond, not Bag of Bones, became a number 10 in the U.S. and number 2 in the U.K., highest charting album in a decade. And in 1993, he collaborated with Bryan Adams' Sting. I totally forgot about this power ballad called All for Love, which went to number 1 in many countries. In the early 2000s, he released a series of successful albums interpreting the Great American Songbooks. As you guys saw, a softer side with Sir Stewart. And in 2008, Billboard magazine ranked Rod Stewart the 17th most successful artist on the Billboard Hot 100 all-time top artists. A Grammy and Brit Award recipient, he was also voted at number 33 in Q Magazine's list of the top 100 greatest singers of all time. And as a solo artist, this is what I did not know. He was inducted in the U.S. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 1994, okay? The U.K. Music Hall of Fame in 2006, and then was inducted a second time in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2012 because he was a member of the band Faces, so twice in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He has had 10 number 1 albums and 31 top 10 singles in the UK, 6 of which reached number 1. He had 16 top singles in the US, with 4 reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. And then the reason for the Sir and everything is this. So he was appointed what they call the Commander of the Order of the British Empire. So it's an acronym of CBE in the 2000 New Year honors for services to music. And during that, in July of 2007 at Buckingham Palace, Stewart commented, quote unquote, quote, "It's a marvelous occasion. We're the only country in the world to honor the common man." He was also knighted 9 years later in 2016 at the 2016 birthday honors for services for music and charity. Hence now he's Sir Stewart. But the other thing I didn't know about, and my husband just loves it because my husband is also an enthusiast of this type, he is a model railway enthusiast. He loves miniature railroads, tracks, and the whole thing. So apparently, per the internet, he has a 23 feet by 124 feet HO scale layout in his Los Angeles home, and it's modeled after the New York City Central and the Pennsylvania railroads during the 1940s. That's pretty big, 23 feet by 124. That takes a big amount of real estate in his home. It's called the Three Rivers City. The layout was actually featured the cover story of the December 2007, December 2010, February 2014, and July 2017 issues of Model Railroader magazine. So 4 times on this magazine. And in the 2007 article, he actually shared that it was more to him, it means, to be in the Model Railroad magazine than a music magazine. So all his accolades, 120 million albums, but he's so happy and proud of his efforts with his model train and everything. So now you know. All right, let's go back to the song. So, Forever Young, Stewart wrote the song with 2 band members, guitarist Jim Cregan and keyboardist Kevin Savager. Stewart told Mojo magazine in 1995 that he considered Forever Young to be one of his favorite songs, and the reason for writing it was, quote unquote, "I love Forever Young because that was a real heartfelt song about my kids. Oh, I suddenly realized I missed a good 5 years of Sean and Kimberly's life because I was so busy touring all the time. With these kids now, I don't make that mistake. I take them on tour with me so I can watch them grow up. So that's another favorite. Unfortunately, it wasn't a big hit in England, but it's like a national anthem here in America." Not funny how it's big here, not big in England, flip-flop, big in England, not so big here. So yeah, there you go. The structure of the lyrics in the song was actually similar to a Bob Dylan song of the same title, also called Forever Young, after its completion. So he did the right thing. He actually sent the song to Dylan, asked whether he had a problem with it. Okay? The 2 men agreed to participate in the ownership of the song and share Stewart's royalties. Pretty good. You know, he's again, I got a lot of money. Might as well double check instead of put the song out there and then have Dylan or Dylan's people go, whoa, wait a minute, that sounds pretty close to our song with the same title. So they both made money with it. So there you go. And then in January of 1989, immediately following the broadcast of the Super Bowl 23rd, NBC Sports used Forever Young as the soundtrack for a year in review montage showcasing highlights from the 1988 Summer Olympics, the 1988 World Series, and the 1989 Fiesta Bowl and Super Bowl 23. NBC broadcast all 4 events. So they use this song as their theme. And then the interesting thing is he recorded a more mellow version, I don't know how you can do that because it's pretty mellow, of the song for his 1996 compilation album, If We Fall in Love Tonight. A version featured just Stewart's voice with a piano accompaniment. Okay, so just piano can be found on the 2009 compilation album, The Rod Stewart Sessions from 1971 to 1998. A live version was also recorded during his MTV Unplugged session in 1993, though not included on the original release of the live album Unplugged and Seated. This version was later released as a bonus track on the collector's edition of the album released by Rhino Records in 2009. Another live version of the song from his 2013 performance at the Troubadour, West Hollywood, was also included on the deluxe edition of the album called Time. Music video, have you seen it? So it was actually officially uploaded back on November 1, 2019. So almost, what is that, 5 years ago? This November, coming soon. It's already at 40 million, so 40.5 views. The 1988 video for this song featured Stewart singing to a really cute, ginger, curly-haired child. I thought it was his son. It's not. It's actually played by an actor, Alex Zuckerman, while scenes of rural America pass by. Apparently it was filmed on Potrero Road in Hidden Valley, Ventura County, California. And I wanted to see what happened to the kiddo. So according to the moviedatabase.com, Alex Zuckerman is an American former child actor who began his career at age 6, who is 6 back in 1988. He's roughly 42 or almost 40, pretty in the 40s, appearing in a McDonald's commercial and a music video with Rod Stewart. So he's done quite well for himself. He continued acting until 1997. And is he still in acting? No, actually, he's a smart kiddo. He is an alumnus of UC Berkeley and Columbia Business School. His professional career included positions at Goldman Sachs and Canyon Partners, and he currently serves as a managing director at White Hawk Capital Partners during the time of this podcast taping. So check him out. If you just look up, like what I did, Alex Zuckerman, you'll see him. He still has his curly hair. I'm assuming it's ginger. Is it ginger still? But he's doing quite well. And so, like I said, music video at 40.5 million views just from only, 5 years ago that it was on. So done quite well. So there it is. It wasn't Bag of Bones, it's Vagabond. And if you have any great suggestions like this misheard song lyric, always send it to our Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter. You can just send it to me via email at misheard, that's MISSHEARD songs @gmail.com. Till then, keep saying the songs wrong. Bye.